I have to say, you're watching genius. No, not me. I'm talking about the president. And so a few hours ago, he says, you know what, I'm going to put a 90-day hold on these tariffs. I'll just leave them at a 10% baseline, except for Communist China. Communist China's now slapped another 84% tariff on us. I will slap another 125% on them. He has effectively isolated Communist China from the rest of the world and, of course, from us. At the same time, he says, I know Xi, I get along with him, he's a very smart guy, so forth and so on. I mean, this man really is a brilliant, more than deal maker, a strategist. And so basically you have now, and the Democrats are taking credit for this pullback, but of course they take credit for everything. They've been so helpful, haven't they? What exactly have they done? What have they done? On their watch, this was all perfectly fine. So what did Trump do? He's changed everything in a period of a week. In a period of a week, he's changed everything. We now have countries, told over 70, maybe over 100, but definitely over 70, who've come to the United States and have said, we want to do trade deals with you, tariff deals with you. We agree. We want them to be more fair, more equitable. It would never have happened. Period. Never have happened. And these tariffs have been in place, what, 14 minutes? But you get my point, a very truncated, very short period of time. And he forced all these countries to come, and he even said during his press conference today, he said, we need the 90 days to deal with all these countries coming to us so we can make some smart deals. They won't all be the same. And we not only want to get this tariff thing more equitable, but we want to get our balance of trade back in order. And so a 90-day freeze at 10%, except for China, which he whacks with 125%. Now, China can keep playing this game. The truth is, their economy is about two-thirds the size of our economy. Their economy relies heavily on exports. Ours does not rely heavily on exports. And he's got a plan to grow the economy, and we're going to get into that more in a moment as well. So these tariffs haven't even been in place that long. And he's pulled them back. 10% across the board minimum is what he's put in place as we negotiate with these other countries that have very high tariffs on us. The Democrats never squealed a word about the tariffs that foreign countries have placed on us. I mentioned this the other day, and now the conga line of plagiarists, verbal plagiarists, are out there repeating it. But it's true. They still don't really talk about it. We talk about it. President Trump talks about it. Now, I understand that China, I think I heard some experts say today, or I read today, really about 20% of their economy is linked to ours. That doesn't even make any sense. How do you even know that? We have vibrant economic activity, including trade, exports, imports, but the whole world. So if we decide to do something, it's not just a matter of how it affects China directly. It can affect China indirectly. That's the nature of economics. The point is, China can't win that battle. It cannot win the battle against the United States economically. And I feel that Donald Trump saw what Reagan did to the Soviet Union. Maybe I'm overstating it, but I don't think so. He's got a portrait of Reagan hanging in the Oval Office. I know he thinks about him, not because he slobbers all over the portrait, because he sees he was an incredibly successful president. There are others he likes. He likes Andrew Jackson. He likes William McKinley. But Reagan. And he's trying to slash taxes significantly. And he wants that bill passed, and he talks about it. And we'll get into that, too. We have the clip of him telling that to the National Republican Congressional Committee and their members and their donors. But what's happened today is really remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. And Schumer's here, dobbling up and down, taking credit for it. He blinked. It's because, and then he blinked. Nobody blinks at Schumer. Nobody. I mean, AOC's thinking about running against him. I suspect she will in the Democrat primary. It's not blinking. Maybe they have something in their eye, but they're not blinking over him. I can promise you that. We Democrats, we succeeded. You succeeded at what? He's going to get these other countries to reduce their tariffs. He's going to get a more level playing field so we can actually have a really significant free market. He's going to help create wealth in this country. Every single Democrat, maybe one, but I doubt it, every single Democrat will vote against his tax package, as they all voted against his budget package. And then they'll take credit for any of the benefits that take place, right? That's what they do. Because they're disgusting. But it's a big day, what he did. Here he was outside the White House today. Let's get cut one ready, please. And this is this morning. Cut one, go.
A few hours later, there was a pause put in on the tariffs. Can you walk us through your thinking about why you decided to put a 90-day pause?
Well, I thought that people were jumping a little bit out of line. They were getting yippy, They were getting a little bit yippy, a little bit afraid, unlike these champions. Because we have a big job to do. No other president would have done what I did. No other president. I know the presidents. They wouldn't have done it. And it had to be done. What was happening to us on trade, not only with, if you look at it, not only with China, but China was by far the biggest abuser in history, and others also, but somebody had to do it. They had to stop because it was not sustainable. Last year, China made $1 trillion off trade with the United States. That's not right. And now I've reversed it. It's for a short period of time, but we made $2 billion. We're making now $2 billion a day. And somebody had to do it. Roger actually said it. Charles Schwab was here a little while ago, one of the great financial people, and he said he's been waiting for 40 years for somebody to do what I did over the last month. And if you didn't do it, you wouldn't have a country. It wouldn't be sustainable. So I'm honored to have done it. And, look, nothing's over yet, but we have a tremendous amount of spirit from other countries, including China. China wants to make a deal. They just don't know how quite to go about it. It's one of those things they don't know how quite. They're proud people. And President Xi's a proud man. I know him very well, and they don't know quite how to go about it, but they'll figure it out. They're in the process of figuring it out, but they want to make a deal. And we have many other countries, as you know, many more than 75, and they all want to come. And they want to come here, or they'll go to Commerce, or they'll go to Treasury. We have our great senators here and congressmen. They'll call John, they'll do somebody, they'll go through somebody, but they're all calling, how do we do this? They all want to make a deal. Somebody had to do what we did, and I did a 90-day pause for the people that didn't retaliate, because I told them if you retaliate, we're going to double it. And that's what I did with China, because they did retaliate.
And that's going to hurt China, because their economy is already hurting. And that's fine by me. When you use economics rather than bullets, it's a good thing. And Reagan showed the way. Trump is now showing the way. I think it would be well for people, our friends at National Review, the Wall Street Journal editorial page, but not just them, others, to actually try and comprehend what the guy's doing, rather than fall back on shibboleths and knee-jerk reactions. Because I'm trying to understand it, and as I think it through, a lot of this makes sense to me. It just does. And the hollowing out of our industrial sector needs to be turned around for national security reasons at a minimum. We can't build ships anymore. We build 10 ships a year. 10. The communist Chinese are building 1,000 ships a year. 1,000. We're building 10. We have on order 10 new naval ships, only 4 of which can actually be built in a period of a year or two. Our naval yards are shut down. The Philadelphia Naval Yard, I grew up in Philadelphia, one of the great naval yards. It doesn't do anything anymore. And all those men and women who are so trained, I mean, it's tough to build a ship. It's not so simple. Well, people have to be retrained now. They're not around anymore. And so these things have to be done. It's unfortunate. I think people are going to look back on this and be really amazed that you lived through this era, that you lived through this period. The big difference between the 1930s and now, and I say this to all my friends out there, is Donald Trump's not a socialist. Franklin Roosevelt was. So while tariffs were in place, and they were put in place by Republicans, Coolidge, Hoover, while they were in place, the fact is the Depression was caused, as Milton Friedman has said, by monetary policy that tightened the dollar, the availability of the dollar by a third, contracted the availability of money by 1/3. So they took a recession and turned it into a depression. And on top of that, it lasted 10 years because FDR was a socialist. He massively raised taxes. The highest rate was 90%, for crying out loud. He was redistributing wealth. He was trying to change our constitutional construct, and he succeeded in many respects. Trump's not a socialist. He's a capitalist. A businessman who built things. He didn't just move money around like Soros. He actually built things. He developed things. He created things. So he wants a massive tax cut, massive regulatory cuts, slash the size of the federal government, slash the bloat in the bureaucracy, so that he has a massive growth agenda on top of this tariff effort, in which, as of tonight, shows absolute genius. Now, this thing has to play out. We all know that. But as of tonight, absolute genius.